Good day, and welcome to another episode of Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. And let's get right to it. So, I told you I'm fascinated with the 1990-91 season and the lockout season of 98-99, okay? And one thing about the 1998-99 season was that teams played 50 games in 90 nights. Okay? 50 games in 90 days or nights. When they're whatever time they played. And so and teams only had 2 weeks to prepare. Okay? The lockout was ended on January 7th, 1999. Okay. And teams were only given 2 weeks to prepare. And so free agency was running rampant. Lots of free agent signings, lots of trades, big names on the move. So one of the things that made the 98-99 season just poor to watch was 50 games in 90 nights. There was just no way you could do it physically. And the brand of basketball was bad early on, very bad. You know how they say the 82 game season was an 82 game season is a marathon, not a sprint. Well, 50 games in 90 nights was a sprint. You had to sprint to the finish line. And normally you would have like 3 games in 3 nights. Okay. And so as a result, injuries were up, fatigue was up, and most people forget that was the year that Master P tried out for the Charlotte Hornets. Yeah, Master P actually tried out for the Charlotte Hornets in the 98-99 season. He didn't make the team. He didn't make the Hornets, but he tried out for the Charlotte Hornets. So the brand of basketball was bad. Injuries were up. And so on opening night just showed how bad of a brand of basketball the 98-99 season would be. On opening night, the Sixers defeated the Hornets 78-66. Okay. And Boston defeated Cleveland 77-73. Okay. And the next week, the Sonics defeated Utah 71-56. That's how bad the brand of basketball was. Okay. And not only that, in the 71-56, in the 71-56 victory that the Sonics got over the Jazz shot only 21 of 68 from the field that game. Okay. So, and plus nobody scored over 50 that year. There was no player in the NBA who scored over 50. Only Grant Hill, Allen Iverson, and Antonio McDyess came close. They all had 46-point games that season, but nobody in the NBA scored 50 that year in 1999. Okay. And injuries were up. I'm going to get into that in a second. Everybody got out. Most people went on, a lot of the veterans went on extended vacations. I've talked about how the lockout pretty much ruined the careers of Kemp, Van Baker, Bryant Reeves, Shaquille O'Neal took an extended vacation during the NBA lockout. He got bigger. Patrick Ewing put on a few pounds. He spent all off season as the president of the Players Association, negotiating with David Stern. Dennis Scott got bigger. Put on a few pounds, which is kind of unheard of for a guard. But yeah, quite a few veterans came back heavier. I did mention Oliver Miller. He's always had a problem. He had a problem with his weight throughout his entire career. He actually played with Sacramento for one game during the 98-99 season, I believe. So, yeah. Grant Hill and Tim Duncan did a commercial during the NBA lockout that didn't sit well with too many players. They did a Sprite commercial, okay? And they were poking fun at their unemployment while the NBA lockout was going on. So they were doing a Sprite commercial, and it was called 1-800-TALL-MAN to poke fun at their unemployment. So it was a Sprite commercial with Grant Hill and Tim Duncan that really did sit well with the rest of the NBA players. But as far as injuries go, teams couldn't have full contact practice. Antonio Daniels, who was with the Spurs, said if David Robinson had the newspaper in his hand, he wasn't practicing. If David Robinson had his watch on, he wasn't practicing. Fatigue, 3 games and 3 nights. Chris Child said his legs were just dead. Usually when you get into town, you usually go out to eat with teammates, but Chris Child said he just stayed in, ordered room service, and just sat in the tub of ice. And Michael Finley said playing back-to-backs, it was like running in sand. And the recovery that year in 1998-99 was really just drinking a whole lot of Gatorade and water, okay? And so players were like wearing spandex tights, to help with recovery on planes. And it was just the travel that got to the players, okay? 3 games and 3 nights, because you might be flying to Portland this night, then you might be flying over to New York the next night, and then you may be flying over to San Antonio the next night. So there was a lot of inflammation from overuse, patellar tendon injuries. Rafe LaFrance, who was a rookie in 98-99, he tore his ACL 12 games into the season. Lack of preparation time. Jim McElvain played 22 games with a torn up shoulder. He played for the Nets. Jason Williams, the New Jersey Nets, Jason Williams. He had a career-ending leg injury, 30 games until the 98-99 season, okay? And he had just signed a 6-year, $86 million deal after the lockout ended, okay? Then he suffers a career-ending leg injury, 30 games into a year, okay? And when the Nets lost 111-106 on opening night, okay, to the Hawks, Jason Williams suffered a broken nose in that game as well. So injuries were up. It was like running in sand. 50 games in 90 nights. Oh. And if you were older, you couldn't recover as quickly. Terry Porter couldn't recover as quickly. because it was a sprint. I talked about how players put on weight. Bryant Reeves, Sean Kemp, Patrick Ewing, Shaq. It was just a bad brand of basketball the whole year because they didn't want the NBA Finals to extend into July. Okay, so that's why the schedule was so condensed to prevent the NBA Finals from moving into July. Okay, so, but hey, the lockout might not have been triggered if Kevin Garnett didn't sign that huge deal before the 97-98 season, a 7-year, $126 million deal. That some people say that was the beginning of the origins of the beginning of the NBA lockout. So, oh well, but hey, players must have did something right because now NBA players getting paid, to say hey the least today. Anyway, that's it, and that's all for Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I'm Sean Farrell. God is great. I'm out of here. Peace out. God bless.